Let's talk about what you can do when your parents get divorced. When I was 7 years old, it was one of the toughest days of my life. I still remember it when Dad left and our family was no longer going to be the same. The two pillars of my life, Mom and Dad, were no longer going to be together. I felt kind of helpless in a way that I couldn't control the situation or keep them together as much as I wanted them to be together. And I share that with you now in really 7 things. I think would have been helpful for me to know then, but I hope it's helpful for you to consider now. And the first thing is, if your parents are divorced, it's not your fault. That's really important. It's not your fault. You don't need to carry around false guilt or false shame. Don't take the blame for it, and don't wear that. It's not yours, and you're not the reason that the divorce has happened. Second, it's important to continue to be a kid. A lot of times you can feel pressure as a kid when your parents get divorced because suddenly you're just living with one parent and you feel like you need to step up and be a parent. Don't feel that responsibility. You're not a parent, you're still a kid. Still be a kid, and don't hurt yourself. With all the pressure and stress you're feeling, don't hurt yourself. You're too valuable, you're too important, and you're loved. The third thing that I want to highlight is that you might need to pursue one of your parents. When a parent leaves or there's a divorce, there might be a parent who's really distant, and even though you're the kid and usually the parent would pursue the relationship, you might need to take some risks and pursue the parent, assuming things are healthy, and that's just going to be something that to have a close relationship or maintain a relationship, you might have to put in some extra effort. I'm being real on that one, realistic about what happens a lot of times. Here's a fourth piece, and it's don't get involved in the middle of the conflict. Now, your parents might have some animosity or strife towards each other, and they might want to involve you by sharing like a long list of what the other person has done and just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. Or they might try to bring you in so you'll side with them, or you'll look down upon the other one or be mean to the other one. And you don't want to get in the middle of the tug of war, and you don't want to hear everything. You might need to know a little bit of information, and that's okay, but then let's put a limit on it, and let's not be caught in the middle. Don't be the counselor, don't be the glue, don't be the one who professionally is trying to sort things out or take sides. It's not your role. And you can just politely say to your parent, whoever that is, okay, that's enough for now. I don't think that information's for me. However you want to phrase it, but don't get caught in the middle of the battle. The fifth thing you can do is still have a great marriage. I want to tell you that because there's great hope. You might be fearful about marriage or feel discouraged, like marriage doesn't work, or you can never have a good marriage because your parents didn't have a good marriage, but that's not the truth. You can have an amazing marriage. In fact, you probably learned a lot of things based on what's happened with your parents, and maybe some things you're not going to do. And you can be firm in what you're not going to do, and you can have an amazing marriage. So receive that hope and know that that is something you can step into later on in life. Number 6 is probably the toughest thing. It was for me, and that's to forgive fully. You might have one or both parents that you're starting to hold on to some resentment, a grudge, some bitterness, and that's not healthy. It's like a poison that's going to eat you up from the inside. I could forgive. I didn't forgive for so long. I went to counseling. I tried to talk it out. I vented my anger, and still there was unforgiveness in my heart. And that didn't change until later in life, and that kind of leads to number 7. The 7th piece is that God's love can make a difference. I didn't know about God, wasn't interested in God. I put my trust in Jesus, and that was in college. I never read a Bible, and it surprised me how good God is and what God could do in my life. And I wasn't even thinking about my parents' divorce, but when I put my trust in Jesus, I knew all my sins were forgiven, and I had eternal life, and that relationship with God. And what happened is it changed my heart. And suddenly I really had like the power and the desire to forgive fully. And when I did that, there was so much healing. And there was healing in my own life. There was healing in those relationships as well. And out of that, a new closeness came. God's love makes a difference. God is a father to the fatherless. God's love is unconditional. God's presence, He will never leave you. He won't forsake you. And when a lot of things change in life and there's disappointment and hurt in relationships and things out of our control, there's one relationship that you can bank on that's dependable. God is faithful, and God's healing can make a difference. So my encouragement to you, if your parents have been divorced, is to receive healing in the middle of the grieving. It's going to be sad, and it's okay to cry. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to feel those deep feelings of pain, but there's a love that's even greater. So those are 7 things you can do when you're going through your parents' divorce and it hurts and you feel hopeless. Just know that there's a path forward and God's love will make the difference. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. It would really mean a lot to our team if you subscribe for future content. Also, smash that like button and share it with a friend. Thanks again for watching.